people have entered to talk about that?
Well, we'll give them a minute or two or three, and then because it's still down there.
Yeah.
Howdy, everyone. Kansas City Chiefs. They playing in 2 degrees? No, ma'am. No, sir. No cats. No dog. I mean, I guess though, if you paid me $1 million, I'd play in the snow too. So
Iowa caucus is tomorrow. I live about 2 hours from the state line of Illinois to Iowa. Let me tell you, we had minus 45 wind chill today. Minus, I don't know, what was it? Minus 11 when I sent you that. Nobody's going out to vote tomorrow.
Minus me. No, ma'am. It got to 17 here is 11 at night or something like that. And then of course it snowed and all the ice and the air, like no. I like snow, but no, I'm over that. I had enough of it in Pittsburgh. Thank you.
Let me tell you, my faith is restored in humanity after yesterday. First, I had to reschedule a couple of readings because I had to get outside and snowblow before the temperatures drop. Because we got 15 inches of snow out here in the burbs. Chicago didn't get as much as we did. But where the snow plows were doing the streets, I had a 3-foot wall of icy snow at the end of my driveway, and I thought, oh my God, my snowblower won't go through that. You have to shovel that, and you're shoveling it over 15 inches of snow, right? So it's hard to lift it. I was almost in tears. I thought I'll be out here for hours just trying to remove that wall of snow. Next thing I know, my next door neighbor and another friend of his from down the street came over, and they shoveled that out in like 20 minutes. Where it would have taken me forever. And I said, I would cry, but they'd freeze on my face. I was so happy that he said, just call me anytime you need help. Because I had snowblowed the driveway. So the driveway was clear, but I had this mountain of snow at the end. And it's like, once it goes sub-zero, you can't go out there. You're going to get frostbite. So you can't work on it. We had another neighbor 2 houses down that just had an ambulance at her house recently, so we know she's got some health issues. He and that friend of his went over and did their entire driveway, cleared their entire driveway. 15 inches
like
of, 15 inches of snow, and they were doing it by hand. And I was like, here, let me go get my snowblower for you, because I have a rechargeable snowblower, so I had the batteries all charged up, and they cleared out the neighbor's driveway with health issues. I'm like, people like that restores your faith in humanity.
Yes. It's a man I watch on YouTube. He does that too. It's not what his YouTube channel is about, but when it snows where he is, he does his, and he does the neighbors next to him too, because they're older people. And I'm like, that's just so nice.
There's channels where they mow people's yards. Where they've had surgeries or whatever, they're unable to keep up with their yards, and they see the yard all overgrown, they just go and mow it for free. So yeah, I am like in gratitude mode tonight. I'm like, yes.
Be thankful for the little things and the big things too.
And the people that I was texting them and rescheduling their appointments to last night. I said, once the temperature drops, I'm staying in. So letting me move their appointments from Saturday afternoon to Saturday night. They were so sweet. I really enjoyed reading for them.
And Intrepid Viewer says she's supposed to be on an Oregon beach next weekend. You can still go. Just beware.
You might have snow on the beach.
Just beware. That's all. You can still go. I think it's fine out. The weather is a little different out that way anyway, so I think you'll be all right.
Well, I got my socks out, Becca. I'm getting ready to put these on to keep my feet warm. Becca gave me these when we were in Oregon. I took a shower before we went live tonight. And,
I was looking for ones that said cats are a-holes, but they didn't have them. Well, you were there with us.
Yeah,
it was all 3 of us at the Powell's bookstore.
Well, Lucy said these are appropriate too. It's my first time wearing them, so I'm putting them on. Saving them for the cold
myself
weather.
a nice pair of socks. I found them on Amazon that have this sort of stuff on the inside. But it just hasn't gotten cold enough to put them on. It's like what? Where's winter?
Becca's sitting there at 60 degrees and we're minus 12 right now. I'm like, oh God.
I took Braxy for a walk at the beach the other day. Everybody's wearing shorts and t-shirts and sandals and stuff. And it's like, and then I get a text message from Jenny about the weather. I'm like, holy crap. Like,
and I'm not sleepy, it's just cold. So
and then you getting down to 17 degrees, that's like, I just want rain and miserable weather. And every time it has rained these last couple of weeks, it has been in the middle of the night when I'm supposed to be sleeping so I can go to work. And it's like 2:00 in the morning and it's raining. It's like, really? Can you at least rain during the day so I can like look out the window and enjoy it? You know? Nah.
The only thing that keeps me going, like, I'm like, okay, well, it could be worse. I could be in like Green Bay, Minnesota or somewhere where it gets even colder. Believe it or not, there are places that are colder than where I'm at.
Yeah. This we mind you, we got snow. It's for us, it's a big deal. Like parts of Portland lost power. We lost no power here, so thank God for that. But it's not supposed to be that here. Like it's Pacific Northwest. It's not supposed to be hot and it's not supposed to snow, and it did both of them this year.
It was funny because like I always watch the weather this time of year because when it goes sub-zero, I have to make sure I have an auxiliary heater in my mudroom where my pipes go to my washing machine, and I put my water faucets on the drip when we go below zero so my pipes don't freeze. But I would say like Wednesday they were saying like 6 to 8 inches of snow, and then by Thursday it was like 11 to 15. I was like, what? What happened? Thank God, because I had hired a guy to do snow removal, and he never showed up last year. And I ended up shoveling. Yeah, we kept getting small snowfalls last year, so I just shoveled it myself. So just a week before the snow, I bought a snowblower, a rechargeable snowblower. I was like, oh, thank God I bought that thing. 15 inches of snow. Can you imagine if I didn't have a snowblower?
He lost power for 16 hours, and that sucks because it is cold in Portland. It is nowhere near warm to not have power. This is hard. Okay, now, where are we? Okay, you want to do your announcement, Jim?
Yeah, there's been a little confusion on the seminar, and I wanted to explain what was going on. If people are getting emails about changes, the dates are not changing. I have an issue with my website because it's set to where if you book a reading with me, it shows you available times in your time zone, and then it puts it on my calendar in my time zone in Central Time. So it works like that on the whole website. So the times that we were putting in for Portland were showing up wrong, and people didn't realize, oh gosh, what's going on. So I wanted to show if people, if you go to my seminars tab on my website, jenlynchero.com, if you scroll down, it shows you the dates. June 14th through the 16th is the first seminar, and June 21st to the 23rd. So it's a Friday night, Saturday, Sunday. And then if you scroll on down, it shows you the times for each day. So Friday is 6 to 8 p.m., Saturday is 9 to 6, and Sunday is 9 to 12. And then if you scroll on down, this part takes a little time to load. Just let it sit there and load correctly, but it shows you like the 14th through the 16th or the 21st to the 23rd. And it shows you how many people have booked. We're over 50% booked right now. But the times are screwed up in here. You'll see it says like 2 a.m. to 11 p.m. Ignore that. The times are up here. So book your reading. The times will also be reiterated in the confirmation email you'll get once you book the seminar. So sorry for the confusion, but it's because of the way my website works. The dates are not changing. If you're getting emails, saying there's changes to the seminar, no. Book your flights. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, so you can come in Friday morning or Thursday if you want. Also in the confirmation email is a code for getting the hotel across the street at a discounted rate. People have told me that when they're booking online that hotel, that the code is working perfectly. So they're getting the reduced rate on the nightly rate. So make sure you pay attention to that code to get Hotel Zags across the street from the seminar. The massage school, we gave the address. It's right across the street from Hotel Zags, but because it's using a different side street for the address, it looks like it's not. It's got a different street name.
Yeah.
But they're literally right across the street, and there is parking underneath the massage school building. The massage school's on the 4th floor of the building. There's also parking under the hotel. But what we found is the massage school building has a cheaper rate for parking.
I think the hotel is $20-$30 a day or something like that, and they can put it onto your charge as well too. The hotel or the parking garage across the street that the school is in, I believe it's $24 for the 24 hours, but at night there is no attendant, and so it is left open. But there's an attendant during the daytime. Is the only difference.
Yeah, and you can either rent a car, or there are trains that go from the airport to downtown Portland. So you can put the address in, for the hotel, and see what train it is you need to take if you would rather do a train as opposed to renting a car.
It's a very walkable city. So if you are looking for something to eat, there's 1,000 things around. There's 2 Starbucks down the street naturally from that one location. There's every kind of restaurant you think you might want, from burgers to Mediterranean to Chinese to barbecue. There's steakhouses. There's shopping. And again, the train takes you everywhere. I don't live in Portland at all, and I take the train into there. So it's got good public transportation. Just get you a map and a GPS, you'll be all right.
The hotel does serve breakfast, right?
Yes.
So the hotel's really cute. Very clean line, modern, kind of zen feeling. It's got a little garden out there. And that time of year, it'll be nice to sit on the patio, have a drink.
And they got bikes and yoga mats and all kinds of things that you can use for free if you are a guest there too. So they got some amenities there too.
A lot of people have been emailing me that they're going to stay an extra day or two so they can go sightseeing and stuff. We'll have to got quite a few vegetarians signing up for the seminar, Johnny. We may need to look around and see where vegetarian restaurants are in Portland.
I put one on there, I do believe, and the Mediterranean place has a lot of vegan and vegetarian options as too. But yeah, I can look into that too before y'all get here. And I will say too, the Japanese gardens is really nice. The Rose Gardens is right across the street from it, and it's free. So you can go around the Rose Gardens. They'll all be in bloom at that time, and you can stay there for however long you want.
Roses usually start blooming in June, so I imagine, we were there in July and it was gorgeous. I would imagine June is just stunning.
Yes. It's really nice. They got some good sights to see.
Up the hill from where we're at. It's up above, but you can take a Uber or a taxi or something if you don't want to rent a car.
Uh-huh. Can you visit my house? No, man. I live in the woods.
Study's outside of Portland. We have to.
Okay. Where do we start? I want to. Okay. I'm gonna be petty. Start with a bit of a troll move here. This is a probably 2-part question. Let me see. Where was the first one? We're going to start with Vivek Ramaswamy, who may be too big for his britches right now. Vivek Ramaswamy is saying, if you want to save Trump, vote for me. If you want to doom Trump, vote for him. Right?
But if you want to doom Trump, vote for Trump?
Yes. Because if you vote for Ramaswamy, he will save Donald Trump, is what he said. That's what he said. If you want to save Donald Trump, you need to vote for Vivek Ramaswamy. If you want to doom Donald Trump, you vote for him. This has caused the MAGAs to lose their mind. And now they F Ramaswamy, and he's Obama 2.0. That was trending on Twitter, is what they're calling him. And they're calling him the Rhino, and he's in disguise, and he's trying to take down Trump. Save him how? Because he can pardon him. He can end the investigations. He can do all these different types of things. I guess that's where he didn't say that, but that's what I'm thinking. That was his logic behind he would save Donald Trump. He would keep the deep state off of him. And so all of the MAGAs are saying Vivek Ramaswamy is deep state, that he is deep state. He is the enemy in disguise. So my question is, has Vivek Ramaswamy learned his lesson from the MAGA, or are they going to attack him? What is the relationship going to be?
Is Johnny breaking up a little, Becca?
Am I back now?
You're back.
Okay.
Yeah, you were freezing up.
Well, Wi-Fi signal is doing one of these businesses because it's 9 degrees outside. Anyway, so he said that save Donald Trump, vote for me. So what I want to know is, what is the relationship going to be between him and MAGA going forward? Just the MAGA, not Trump, just MAGA.
What's MAGA?
Because he needs them, apparently.
Chris Christie dropped out before the caucus tomorrow. Is MAGA going to be... Oh. They would string him up if they could. Hang on.
Oh, I got 2 flew out. I'll keep them both. That shall I?
Pardon if you guys hear blowing. My heater is staying on. It's blowing. Oh, great, Lucy, lay right in front of the heater so the room gets cold. She is laying right against the heating vent.
Tell her, don't be selfish. Get up.
Cats are assholes.
I mean,
I don't care if you're cold. I'm warm. I'm right here on the heating vent.
like you were born with a fur coat. Get away from my heating vent.
Like he's got the biggest fur coat in the house. I'm laying on the heating vent.
Thank you, Edie. That poor thing. I told you he wants to be a white guy named Biff. I told you. Bless his heart. Becca, what you get?
I don't get so much MAGA as I do him trying to court the big donors.
Mm.
There's your donors. Gifts of finances and resources. That's who he's pandering to. Not so much the base. So I don't think he cares about the relationship with MAGA as so much as he's trying to forge financially beneficial relationships and friendships, and almost like a lapdog for the donors is what I get.
I'm getting the same thing. It's like he's trying to secure money. He's getting very anxious about that, so he must be running low on funds, and like, where are the riches? I need money, and I get his fortunes are changing here. MAGA will not accept him as the leader. They will not accept him. He's very constricted with them. He's just he'll be put in defense mode by them. I think bad news with MAGA. I think they would go after him if he got the election.
They're not on his side. Not going to be. Never have been, mind you. Because last week they was doing the whole Trump VP Ramaswamy type of thing, and now it's like burn him at the stake. But this is about money and donors. That's all he really cares about. He doesn't care about MAGA either. But they definitely do not like him at all.
You got the same thing: King of Pentacles and the Nine of Pentacles, and that liar card. They think he's a liar.
Yeah, and I got that one too.
But what's interesting about the whole thing is that he's not really saying anything differently than Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis and everybody else that said if they win the nomination, they'll pardon Donald Trump.
Pardon him.
So
he said the only different thing he said, because he said it to one of the Trump voters, he's to their face. If you vote for me, you save Donald Trump. If you vote for him, you doom Donald Trump. So he came in like the horse and the cavalry type thing, saying that he is their salvation. And they seen this little brown man talking about, you're going to save us. You see how that ended back in the past. So, yeah, that's not going to work for me, brother.
Orange, you're going to save Orange Jesus with that brown skin? I don't think so.
Yeah. Not today, you ain't. Get thee behind
for
me.
MAGA. Not their minds.
This prompted the Don to say, because now it's being touted he has attacked Vivek Ramaswamy finally. He said, very sly, but a vote for Vivek is a vote for the other side. Now, it is rumored, because Vivek said his campaign has made a mistake, and this is what Vivek said, that Donald Trump's campaign has made a mistake in attacking, because that's not what we're supposed to be doing, basically, is we're supposed to be on the same side. And then one of the guys from the Midas Touch was like, no, that wasn't his campaign. That was him. He said, very sly, but a vote for Vivek is a vote for the other side. Don't get duped by this vote for Trump. Don't waste your vote. Vivek is not MAGA.
Is Vivek married? Because if he was, Trump would be saying, and your wife's ugly too, like he did.
I think he is, because they put his wife's name on Twitter the other day, and I can't pronounce it, but his wife or girlfriend or whoever she is has been seen. So yeah, he's got one.
Yeah, they're gonna be calling his wife ugly next. It's Trump. He's gonna put everybody else down, and then he'll come up with some whack job. Probably get Helena Haba to run as VP or something crazy.
And Trump says Trump doesn't need saving. And then here is a picture of this campaign's #1 fraud, and there's a picture of Vivek Ramaswamy. So you did the wrong thing, and you attacked a narcissist.
They're gonna start swatting Vivek's home now. We gotta see a swatting of.
I mean, that's rich for Donald Trump to call Vivek Ramaswamy the biggest fraud. Homeboy.
So, what I want to know.
It doesn't matter if his wife's pretty. Trump will call her ugly.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
But look at who he claims is pretty. So, anybody outside of that.
Oh, look at Braxy.
He had a baby with a mannequin. So, there's that. But what I want to know is the relationship going forward between Vivek and Trump. Will they kiss and make up? Because Vivek Ramaswamy is like Ted Cruz. I don't care what you say about him. He's going to campaign for Donald Trump. And so, are they going to kiss and make up? MAGA is not your friend.
Well, they're trying birtherism on Nikki Haley, and surprised they haven't done that to Vivek.
Are they doing that now?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I did see that. Because her parents weren't from here or something like that. It's only a matter of time. They got to eliminate the competition.
And again, Trump only cares if you're loyal to him. He's not loyal to anybody. So, you know.
Bless his heart.
Your wife, your dog, everybody's ugly. They can be fine. He's going to try to pass judgment, string him up, you know. Shine a light on the imbalance here. You know, show me your birth certificate. You name it. He's going to be petty. He's going to try to destroy him. Strength card on that. Like he's going to go after him hard.
What's their relationship? What is it going to be like? Not good, considering that neither one of them are going to secure the election or the nomination. There's the election, there's achieving it, and then there's all the trouble. So no bueno. No bueno.
Vivek is there's something wrong with both of their relationship, especially when it comes to the election there. Tennosaurs, there's America there. He, however, is again his ultimate goal is fame and fortune. He cares very little to nothing about Donald Trump, technically, because he's just a means to the end. If it were whoever else in that position, he'd be right up there behind like the rest of them. But he is out. They don't like him. They don't want him. They don't need him, but they're going to take him. Why? Because he'll campaign. He is chained to the devil, and he will keep that relationship because of his own personal agenda. But their relationship is non-existent. He doesn't need Vivek Ramaswamy. Vivek Ramaswamy needs him. He's trying to be popular. He's trying to be the center of attention. Best way to do it. Now, I tweeted, though, this is the time to run, Vivek. Everybody who's around Trump either has a lawyer or needs one. So right now is your out. I always tell you, God gives you an out. Right now is your out. If you don't take it.
To the person in the chat, I did not say Trump gets the nomination. I said that the votes, neither one of them gets the nomination. And I forget whose channel we were on, but it was a couple months ago. We asked who was going to be the Republican nominee, and I got that it was a woman. I could be wrong.
It was a woman too.
I could be wrong, but I got that it would be a woman. And the way that stuff is progressing with Trump getting challenged at the ballot and being kicked off of more and more and more ballots, we're still waiting on the Supreme Court to decide. He ain't got a chance in hell. Not considering that he'll be walking into elections as a convicted criminal on top of it. So
I don't think it'll be Liz Cheney. It's probably going to be like a Nikki Haley or somebody.
Liz
Cheney has said if she runs, she would run as like third party. She wouldn't run as a Republican.
She's just trying to stick it to Trump, she said, basically.
Yeah.
Judge Cannon, what I want to know is what is her intent with this case? Not if she'll get removed. I think we've exhausted that question 100 times. What is her intent? What is her motivation? What is her intent here?
I think Jack Smith's group, I think they're giving her enough rope to hang herself just to see how far will she go to protect Trump. So that when they go to the appeals court, they can get her removed maybe completely as a judge, not just from that case. She is something else.
Yes. 1-800 buy a judge. That was her face. It had that on there. Trending too.
And didn't she just tell Jack Smith, like, he needs to come see her or something like that? I forget what she said. Well, okay, let's just pull out all the major arcana. Corrupt and stall till the election. Change the fortunes, break it down. Support Trump. It says it all. Delay the trial till the election, after the elections.
What is her intent? There is a society that has pretty much given her marching orders and a promise to her to give her a position of very high power. So I don't get the tower in this reading, so I can't say Supreme Court, but what would make sense? She's already a federal judge. The next step would be Supreme Court. There's a society. There's the results of a promise, something that she's wished for power and resources and finances. So
can you imagine her on the Supreme Court? I mean, Jesus. She doesn't even swear in her jury. It's like, oh my God, somebody that doesn't know the law.
No, I mean, look at Kavanaugh and COVID Barry and the other guy, Gorsuch. And I mean, it's just disgusting. But what is her intent? I don't get anything about the classified documents case here. I get more like a society that made her a promise for power and a lot of resources.
So do their bidding and whatever they tell her to do.
Yep. Get all the money you want. You don't have to use your brain so long as you do our bidding. So
I'll go Supreme Court. So there is sort of concealing or shading collaborations. There are people. Here's what I think is happening. Is because word of warning is Wheel of Fortune. She's trying to run out some sort of clock or mess up some sort of timing of something. There are people who can put a reasonable doubt in Trump's case if you can muddy the water and try to conflate issues. Distractions. Things that make no sense. Because mind you, this is kind of that OJ thing. All you need is, in Casey Anthony, all you need is to confuse or to create a reasonable doubt. And then your jurors or your judgment or your something goes one way or another. Or you have an excuse for it too. She's trying to muddy the water for some reason here. But it has something to do with outside people, not just Donald Trump himself. And then there is the timing. She's trying to inflict something as far as timing goes. I can't stand people, but she's trying to do this covertly, believe it or not.
It's like what the Midas touch says. It's she's corrupt, but she's not smart enough to do.
She's not hiding it, or smart enough to even hide it.
Yeah.
They tell her what to do. It's like she's going to get her ass in a sling. She'll get removed from the case, and she'll never get to the Supreme Court. Like they're going to promise her the moon, and she'll end up lucky to be a lawyer someday.
She'll be lucky to be a judge in a traffic court at this point. Because she's had 4 cases, and 2 of them were overturned by the 11th Circuit. So she's 50-50 right now. And 2 of those cases had to do with Trump. So please go ahead. Screw up some more.
Please. Well, speaking of screw ups, Mark Robinson.
Who's that?
That's this bunch of group here. This guy He is or was, or still is, I guess, the lieutenant governor of North Carolina. He is running for governor of North Carolina too, I believe. But he is the one that said God created him to fight the gays. Fine. But the story is he had himself a secret meeting, is what they're calling it, with Jenny Thomas prior to January 6th, apparently. Why? Can we ask? What were they talking about? Why did they need to have a little meeting? Who is he on her radar that they would have a meeting at all? But let's see.
Something's going to grow out of this. Hang on.
Nowhere, Teresa. Nowhere.
When did they meet?
Apparently prior to January 6th.
This is a really big deal. There was an exchange of information and maybe even money. I'm getting all kinds of major arcana. Like there's going to be illumination on this. There's a partnership there that they were moving together on. It may have to do with transportation also for January 6th. I get the communication is going to make them very anxious. They're trying to block it from coming to light. But they were working together to try to bring change through the bullying efforts of January 6th. There's communications that will come out in court. This isn't over. We're going to return to this because they're definitely trying to throw the election. Incomplete work. We're going to be revisiting this.
And they met again in 2021.
There's going to be a whistleblower talking about more about that.
So they've had a couple meetings.
So she may have talked to them about fake electors or something also, but I think also for January 6th, like transportation to get people there, because, the Carolinas aren't that far from D.C.
There's the transportation. There's the conversation in the meetings. There's Jenny, and then there's money. So she could have been working as a consultant, because this is a person that is a business owner, a consultant, independent, over the transportation of the Whiteys here. You're picking up what I'm putting down.
Yep. There is the transportation with the chariot and the 6 of swords, the moving of someone who fights or combative people. That's what she was doing here. There was some sort of logistics. It has something to do with him and his position, though, or a position that she wanted him to take. This may have been new, so he may be a new part of their family, because he is a person who has signed on to the big lie as well, in the overthrowing of the blah, 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 and all that. So he is one of those. He is a MAGA. As black as he is a MAGA too. And so he's got some sort of new position or new dedication to this thing. And there is still the transportation of people, though.
What I don't understand, I can't wrap my head around it. For any person of color, be it black, brown, yellow, green, purple, orange, whatever, how in the F can you support the MAGA movement, which is openly hostile to people like you? Make that make sense, Johnny. Make that make sense. Like,
One of the one of the Midas people, I forget who it was, but there he was talking to whoever the guy was talking to the guy who is the leader of the gays for Trump. And then there's the women's for Trump. And it's like, wait.
Yeah. I don't know how after the Access Hollywood tape release, I don't know how any woman, like if you lived in New York, you knew who Trump was. You knew he was a player. You knew he assaulted women and stuff. It was very well known. But after the Access Hollywood tape, how any woman could vote for him, they got to be screwed up in their head, or they like the patriarchal society where men mistreat women.
But you also understand too, because there are black people who hate black people. Colorism is a thing in this society. There are white people who hate other white people, and they're especially socio-economical scales. There are Spanish people or Spanish derivative who don't want to be dark skinned and don't like the ones who are. The same with the Asian community who don't like those who are darker skinned because you work outside. And so there are gays who don't like feminine gays, and then they don't like it. So it consists of hate because people are still people. I don't care where you find them. And it's like this part in here has no race. It's just all this out here. And so inside of here, you're still a person who don't like other people, fill in the blank because.
But this is where my brain gets stuck. Like, here's a perfect example. Not a black person, but an openly transgender person, Jenner. And I will not say her female name because she didn't earn it, or he didn't earn it. But he panders to the party that is openly hostile towards people like himself because he's a white man that's only thinking with his pocketbook. Even though they're pushing anti-trans bills in all these Republican states, how can you look at that and be like, yep, that's my party, even though he himself is transgender? Because you think you have all this money, it kind of puts you in a different slate than everybody else. Like, they're cherry picking who they're going to. You're part
they hate the trans, but they're not talking about me.
Yeah,
I'm so privileged. Like, just no.
You, homeboy. I don't get it. I don't get it. But whatever, I'll shut up.
That child, bless their heart. So, Fox News has dumped Mike Lindell. Moment of silence.
He's not paying his bills. He's broke.
What's going to happen for him now? Because he's run out of options to tell people about his pillows. What's going to happen? Because he has employees, mind you. Everybody's not as nuts as he is. There are some people who depend on their MyPillow check. What's going to happen to his business now? Bless him hot.
They're not lumpy pillows. It's like calling Trump a loser. Don't call his pillows lumpy. They're not lumpy pillows.
No,
he's going to be in the claw machine again on Jimmy Kimmel.
All that money.
Gone.
All that money.
Gone for an orange menace.
Gosh. It's like you spent all your money on Donald Trump. All your money on a fallacy. His
business is done. It's toast. It's just.
like trying
Unless
to
you can-
feed dogs or people or something. Let me spend all my fortune on that, though.
He's gonna end up over there like Rudy Giuliani, and he's still got those lawsuits against the two companies for the voting machine.
Smartmatic and Dominion, is it?
Yeah. Kiss it goodbye, homeboy. Kiss it goodbye.
I mean, you're lucky you're not in jail because you gave that woman, who was Tina Peters, all that money, $100,000 or whatever it was, and all you were legally allowed to give her was like $1,500.
And wasn't he one of the masterminds behind the cyber ninjas?
I think so. All that money.
his business is toast unless he can find an investor, to hook up with. But he's being sacrificed through the court systems. He's still got all his Dominion cases and everything. So there's more illumination coming out on him as he goes through the courts here. It's like the truth is coming out on him. He's done. He's toast. Everybody he's worked with, things that he tried to structure through the government or whatever, anybody he worked with in the government, he's toast. His lifestyle is going to change. He's going to be down to the bare minimum walls. Like, dude, you might be living out of a container your pillows came out of. We'll cut a little window in it.
The guard in the tower, the heart, the scythe, and the clover. There's like a grand jury of some sort that's gonna whack them. It could be around the January 6th stuff. It could be around the what do you call this? The Smartmatic and Dominion stuff. But he's in legal danger. He's done. He's going to have to rely on the generosity of the public. So like crowdsourcing, and it's only going to be a little bit of help. But I see that he's gonna have to end up like, what do you call that when you have GoFundMe's? Like, is that crowdsourcing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Of all the legal dangers and legal decisions coming his way for his company and all the law stuff that he's involved in. Have fun.
No, Michelle, I didn't draw that. I wish I could. It's on the wall here. Her name is Kathy D. She drew that, and that picture back there too. Right there. I have no talent for such things. Mike Lindell. That's all you. Out in the cold. Poverty, lack, and loss. You did it to thyself. So, all that money.
That guy, he was like a real billionaire, was he not?
He was a millionaire.
He was a millionaire. I don't know.
All that money, put it
Legit
in a dumpster,
millionaire. He made a lot of money.
lit it on fire.
Yes. Literally. And not to keep warm.
And Trump ain't gonna help you out, homeboy. All that stuff you did to help him, he don't know you. He's gonna be like, Mike Lindell who? Mike Lindell who?
Trump's going broke himself. He's got his own legal bills.
Poverty, lack, and loss. That's what you're headed towards. Bless him hard. But speaking of crack-headed people, the rumor has it by those who work for Tesla that Elon Musk has exhibited crackheadish behavior. They believe he is on drugs of some sort.
That he's exhibited what behavior?
Crackheadish behavior.
Oh, crackheaded.
I'm saying that. That's not what they say.
Allegedly, for
They
entertainment purposes only, YouTube.
allegedly, apparently, does not cover us. It just makes me have to cite my source, which I will do that. Thank you, Lisa. Where is it at? Because what happened was he was in several of the board meetings. He was on stage at one point having a conversation with somebody else, and he just seems erratic. But he seems like he can't focus on anything. He can't complete the sentence. He has very strange and impaired behavior.
maybe he put one of those chips in his own brain, and it's like
Glitching
out.
And we all know, like, he supposedly has Asperger's, but you know, you can have Asperger's and not do some of the things that Musk has done.
You can have Asperger's and not be a DICK like that guy.
Because his thing was, it's not just. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Jamie's saying he's hooked on ketamine. He's done interviews where he brags about taking self-dosing on ketamines and microdosing on a bunch of other stuff too. So he's admitted to having microdosing on.
Okay, Karen Conroy, you're about to be put out in the cornfields. She's talking about Mike Lindell could have my diapers. Go into a new business.
Oh, have mercy.
My diapers.
They said he was unhinged at staff meetings. And so he was an hour late and rambled on for 15 minutes until the SpaceX presidents took over. Here's the thing, too. We went through, in my years of retail, we went through several trainings about selling people alcohol and tobacco. And we had to be licensed in certain states in order to do it, because the police come in and they do their operations to where they're trying to see if you're selling it to minors. They will literally send a kid in the store to try to buy tobacco. If you sell it to them, then all hell breaks loose, right? And so they gave us the training to where when a person comes in front of you, they may appear to be drunk, but they have a medication that makes them slur. They have a medication that makes them lean or sway or something like that. So you have to judge case by case. In his case, if he rambles on for 15 minutes in a meeting, he just could be a person who rambles instead of him being on drugs.
He's not unlike Trump. Like, you know, you can, like, you watch Trump in interviews. There was a great clip. I think it was on Midas Touch. It might have been on Liberty Project. Anyway, it was on the Daily Show. They showed interviews with Trump where they'd ask a question and he wouldn't answer that question. He would talk about whatever he wanted to. You know, he just doesn't pay attention. He's going to make his own points. So,
thank you, Linda. So my question is, is he on, I don't want to say drugs, but is he on a drug that impairs his behavior? And I don't know if you have a way to tell if it's stronger than prescription or not, but I do.
Trump, there was a Liberty Project did have a video they put out last week where he's sniffing more again in his rallies, and they showed just in one rally how many times he was.
See, I sniff, but it's 10 degrees.
Elon have the same.
Is he on hard drugs? That's how I want to know. Not medication. Because he's been accused of X, mind you, which is ecstasy. There is. No, I didn't see the word or nothing. They do have like weed and all of the other things that they think are also drugs. But so he's being accused is all.
I asked straight up, does he use recreational drugs? I get a yes, but I also get that he suffers from depression. There's some sort of an imbalance there where it's almost like it's depression, but it's also something that could be neurological and metastasizes. You're picking up what I'm putting down, because this is illness, and this is something that spreads and metastasizes. I ain't saying he's got the cancer. I'm just saying there's an illness. Could be mental health related. It could whatever, but there's an illness here, and it's almost like he's not getting proper medical care. This is almost like it's self-done.
Yeah, I think he's self-medicating a lot.
That's like it.
Because there's a lifestyle thing here. It's like, because I get all these yes cards, I get all these aces, but there's mind altering medications. There's medication for emotions, and he's overdoing it. He's going over the top with it. Bullying his body, so to speak. He's taking them too frequently. But whatever the medications are, it's supposed to try to block some of those emotional things and some of those mental things. And now he's just all confused.
For the ketamine stuff, I thought ketamine was like a tranquilizer, like a horse tranquilizer at that. I know that it's used recreationally as a drug, but I've never heard of ketamine being used for depression for the person in the chat. Because
I mean, when you are, if you're self-medicating, then he could be one of those on the website, like ivermectin. It's like that was never prescribed to anyone. That was a self-medicated thing too.
Yep. Ivermectin and what was the other one that study came out? The French study.
Hydrochloroquine.
Yeah, hydroxychloroquine, that they were saying that they're estimating 17,000 people died of taking that drug because Trump told them to.
I get there is something with his health. It stems from mental though, and it's something he's trying to recover or something that he is trying to save or salvage. There is some self-medicating though. This is not natural, or this is not prescribed. I'll say it that way. And it's in excess, and it isn't taking in combination with other things that it should not be. And so this can cause hallucinations, for him anyway. There's hallucinations. There's like some funny thoughts is the words that keep popping up. It's like it's taking him out of himself into something else, and it's in excess, and he takes it in combination with something else. It's a bunch of it. It's not one. It's a list. He's got a cocktail, if you will.
You know, a lot of times, like, they'll take stuff to get up in the daytime, and then they take stuff to bring them down at night so they can rest. And
Try Kit Kats or something. Like, what's wrong with you? I can't. Child. So, Wayne LaPierre has been kicked out. Well, he has resigned from the NRA as of January 31st. He will.
But still has to go to trial over it.
So I want to know, though, because to me it sounds a lot like he's trying to run from something, and I don't think that's going to work, because Letitia James is going up to the NRA because of their shadow funds. Wayne LaPierre is thinking, well, if she's going to do that, then let me just leave now. So I want to know the future between him and Letitia James. Like, is there still a case coming his way? Is there? Because mind you, the NRA, someone there, what was his name? Jimmy James something? He's cooperating with investigators. He was part of the NRA too. And he has been handing over information and cooperating. So whatever he has to say may be a very sad indication or fallout for Wayne LaPierre too. So it doesn't mean he's escaping anything by resigning. So that's my question. Is the relationship between him and Letitia James, is she coming for him too?
Well, I get he's not going to be allowed in the state anymore or out in public anymore, or that little group, that little society is going to be blocked. And that this woman is going to fight very, very passionately and get what she wants out of it. So rest in peace, homeboy. Rest in peace. Because he tried to run away from her once, right? Like he tried to run away that case and take it to Texas. Or something, and it got turned down.
Or tried to file bankruptcy or something.
Yeah, she's gonna fight him, and she's gonna get what she wants.
Because they operate as like a nonprofit, I think, don't they? The NRA.
He operated as a nonprofit, but he was using it as his private slush fund, kind of like what I was getting in the GT for what's her face.
Well, if you're a nonprofit, then if you're giving money to candidates that are running for office, then you're no longer a nonprofit. You're now in politics.
Mm-hmm.
The man who is cooperating, I forget his name, he was partially responsible for the divvying out of those funds, and he got caught too, but he's the one now cooperating.
Yeah, there's definitely more people cooperating here. There's something about trips that he took with Republicans that's been covered up. So there's a lot of money that's gone into trips, kind of like with Ronna McDaniels paying for trips. Kevin McCarthy, spent too much money on trips and stuff. So I get he's got a surprise in for him. Strength on her side. She's going to burden the crap out of him. She wants him to regret ever living on the face of the earth. It's like there's lots of gifts of money and lots of communication that she's got. Bad news. She's going to bully him. She's going to take more actions against him. He's got another indictment coming, so it's not just the NRA. It's him personally. She's going to take him down. She will take him down.
I am ready for that day simply because of the fact. Now, I think Letitia James is more civil. I don't think she's criminal. Is that correct? It's more civil.
I think it depends on the case. I think she can do either.
Okay. Just because of how much blood has been spilled, so that pompous clown can go live like a king. So, bye-bye. Bye-bye.
He eventually cooperates because he gives this grows because he gives her something. She's in his warning, or there's a woman in his warning. I'll say that because she usually comes up Queen of Swords, but there's a woman here who is bad news for him as well. But he gives her something because he's cornered. So it's almost like he has no choice in this matter, really. He has to try to escape jail, maybe. But he has no real choice going forward. My next question sort of stems from this too, because he's got a lot of stuff to answer for to the NRA too. Because it's just like, Ronna, where did all the money go? And just like Becca's tableau, it did not all go to Trump. Yep. And so where did all this NRA money go? And just like the Moms for Liberty, where does all their money go? It doesn't go to the places they say it does.
Can we ask if the NRA will take action against LaPierre?
That's my next question.
See,
because he's taken a lot of money from them, and trips and expensive watches and tiger scan rugs and all this kind of weird business. That where you get that money from? This is a not-profit. So why are you living?
All those expensive
reasons. Well, they take action against him. He's a fraud.
Sorry. I got a big ol' yes to the question. They're already meeting about it, about getting a new person in. They're already meeting about it. They're already talking about it, perhaps with the small people. So like not the donors, but the people that pay to have a membership with the NRA. Do you see what I'm saying? The little nobodies that pay their $20 or whatever it is. They're already talking about it. Like, this is bad.
Yeah. I get a big yes on the bottom too. It's like, it's already done. Like, they're going to take it up through the courts. It's just a matter of time. It's kind of like waiting maybe until after this Letitia James case goes through. They're not having it. It's like a lot of money went overseas and travel. Yeah, somebody's going to be talking about travel that he did with the money. Moving houses, all of that, living a luxury lifestyle. Yep. luxury lifestyle, party boy. He's going to get the crap burdened out of him. So, yep.
Yes. Short answer. 4 cups, 3 of wands. We have an overseas connection too, naturally. There's also someone here in the government, like an old friend or something like that too. They benefited a lot. And it could also be a little group of people too. So he wasn't just taking money for himself. They got a bunch of it too. I don't think these people are in government right now, though. It's they either retired or whatever the case may be, but they profited a bunch too. There's a man here who got a lot of designer clothes and jewelry, and because the King of Pentacles is like your stuff card. He likes things. He likes collectibles. The King of Cups is very dapper. He cares about how he looks. Everything has to be in the right place and the right this and the right tie. But it's all designer too. Ain't nothing cheap. He can get nothing from the Goodwill over here. So there's someone there, and then there's just a bunch missing, mind you. So yeah, they will. There's your indictment in the end. Piece of paper that comes to his house that he must respond to. Or not indictment, but lawsuit.
He's one guy I'd love to see his house raided and him standing at the curb in his undies. Eastman or Clark or whoever that was. It's like, yeah, catch him in the middle of the night or early morning, raid his house.
Jason Boebert has been arrested for the violence, but we don't know exactly what violence. We know that the police were called after his ex-wife punched him in the face. And then apparently he was belligerent with the police, and then he was arrested. Will this continue between him and Lauren? Will these incidents continue? Because he already pulled the gun on the kid and then got into the fight with the wife. Now, I will say, in these instances, it's always usually, the poor wife is always beat in by these men, but she's not afraid of him. So it ain't one of them instances where it's, oh, poor Lauren, who appeared she's not afraid of him. So not that you need to be hitting anybody, but they're very Jerry Springer-ish that way. But he is a person that can do a lot of damage. So will this continue?
I got a yes. Especially when there's a boyfriend or a new girlfriend in the picture. But yes, there's the fighting. There's the friend that brings gifts or, that sort of stuff. Could be abusing a family pet even, but the fighting continues, especially when there's another person that shows up, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, a casual friend, if you just want to put it that way. But yeah.
He's jealous. Jealousy leads to envy. Envy leads to crime.
Just get a freaking restraining order.
Mm-hmm.
One of you all is going to have to get a restraining order. I mean,
I think one of them will, but that's not even going to stop it. It's a steady thing. It's like he's going to end up in court over and over and over again. I'm getting, and Boebert may put him there. The separation, within the family. He uses strength to burden and fighting, and it's like an addiction. It's like rage is his thing. I do feel like there'll be a restraining order, something to temper him at some point, but he's not done. He'll keep doing it. He's like Trump. You gag him, he's still going to talk.
How many kids do they have?
4.
Yeah, I think it's like 4.
Are they little kids?
No, I think they're like teenagers. like the boy just impregnated that girl. That's why she's
Oh
like
yeah,
a 36-year-old. Well, he impregnated her when he was a teenager at
When
17.
he was like 15. Yeah,
He was
15.
like
That's what
14,
we'll go
almost
after.
15 years old. Yeah.
That's what we'll go after next. There's the violence here, 5 of Wands. There's the Father there. I don't use the Father for Emperor. Emperor is technically the Father for those learning tarot. I use this because the Emperor to me is not a nice card, so I use that for the Father. And then there's the Sons. And then, yes, he will continue to be violent and belligerent.
And Joe says, and Lauren will end up in the theater over and over and over. That whole thing is a whole freaking Jerry Springer show. It's so nasty.
Well, speaking of violence, will anything happen to Roger Stone, who is claiming it was AI that said it, not him, when he threatened to kill Eric Swalwell and another person?
And just a little side note, apparently he had that conversation with an undercover cop.
Yes.
Right? So the undercover cop somehow made up the AI conversation with Roger Stone saying this person should be unalived and this person should be unalived.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was
who the other one was. It was Swalwell, and y'all tell us in chat. I forget who the
Jerry Nadler, Pelosi.
Nadler. It was Nadler. Yeah.
So what was the question, Johnny?
Will anything happen to him from this, or is this just another news story? Of course, Eric Swalwell responded, "You're not going to stop me from doing my work." So, Swalwell for president one day. He will get there. He has to. You see his big board with Jim Jordan and subpoena on it too. Like you sitting there talking about Hunter, and you ain't honored none of the subpoenas we sent you, so shut it.
But I love when they were holding up the picture of Trump and Epstein on a big giant.
Speaking of pictures, what? Never mind.
I get a yes, but not from this. This conversation, no agreement was made. There's the conversation, there's an agreement, there's it being canceled. So no agreement was made in regards to the conversation, the phone call, the recording of this person needs to be unalived, that person needs to be unalived. There will be legal repercussions, and there are a lot of them and very widespread, but it's not in regards to that specific conversation about putting a target on a person, because an agreement was not made, if that makes sense. Yeah. So yeah, he might be talking about this person should go, that person should go, but it wasn't agreed upon.
He could have inflammatory speech, but he didn't say go and kill this person.
Yes. Or he didn't make an agreement with the person to go do that thing. Okay. The agreement here, not made. Mm-hmm. But this is saying he's in a crap ton and a lot of widespread legal issues that he's going to have, but not over that, if that makes sense. So perhaps it's broader on the January 6th thing as a whole, how broad it is, but not that particular conversation, if I'm making sense.
Yeah, I get he's being investigated and put in defense mode over trying to get Trump to higher ground, and looking at all the options. And I get secret meetings, bullying, so Proud Boys, that kind of thing. Thank you, Claudia. But justice is coming for him. He's going to end up in the courts, burdened in the courts here. But I think it's more about January 6th. And maybe something with the fake electors. He's about to come to an end through the court system, so he's got he's got things in front of him. I feel like I have the world card here. I feel like maybe around Christmas next year, it's got a Christmas wreath on it. Around Christmas next year, he's in big trouble.
Will anything come of this? Yes. Not necessarily just for him or for him, period, but there's a person here. This is not going to happen soon. This is kind of like Jen said, towards the end of the year. The pool has to reach the world. So there's like the journey to be had, but there's a lot of trouble along the way. Now, he will be concerned about this along the way because the AI defense is not holding up. There's a person here who may have carried out this act against that woman, and that could be Pelosi because she was one of the people named, I guess. And that may have been attached to that guy who broke in her house or something like that. So there is some trouble here from a person who is manipulated to do such a thing. He will regret this, but I don't get legal just yet. But this will be a form of regret here with the Five of Cups. So this is going to come back to haunt him. But we will see how. Because he is going to be concerned about this actually all year. This is not going away at all. I think in the end, with the two cups behind, he still may be safe from jail. But you can attribute to maybe incendiary language being fuel for that person, and it's coming from him or somebody around him. But he manipulated somebody to carry out some sort of acts, and I think it was against Pelosi. Well, speaking of stories that may or may not go anywhere, but we shall see. He said, and I quote, because they quote it, and I think it's important to quote. He said, Donald Trump about Jeffrey Epstein. He's a lot of fun to be with. And it's even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do. And many of them are on the younger side. So Donald Trump has been accused by someone. So someone has come forward and said that he forced himself upon this person. But of course, it's right now just a story. He said, she said. So will anything come of that? Will he have any case, any day in court for assault of this person?
Well, the Jane Doe that allegedly that was going after him before the 2016 election for attacking her at Epstein's mansion. When she was like 13, she pulled it from the court system. She got threatened. According to her, she was threatened by Trump, and her family was threatened. So she pulled out. Because he's mafia type crap. So she got scared. But his name was all over the Epstein papers. Flying on the plane and stuff. Wait, no surprise there who was on it. But will any of the Jane Does ever go after him?
I get a yes, but it's going to take a while. It's going to take a while. Crossroads, the lilies in the house. Yes. Just don't hold your breath. I asked if he would be held accountable for the girls that he SA'd with Epstein at the island. You got to love it how all of them, all the MAGAs were like, yeah, we can't wait for the Jeffrey Epstein list. We're going to see all these Democrats on there, and whose name showed up the most? Trump. And then how quickly they spun that to, well, that's fake news. That's not real. But Bill Clinton was on there. Okay. Arrest him. You don't see us over here throwing a fit.
We knew he was on there. We talking about y'all right now, though.
Yeah. We investigate Clinton and all that other stuff like you would anybody else. He's guilty. Throw his ass in jail.
Period.
We're not over here defending it. Get rid of him if he did it. You know how quickly they changed their tune.
You know, there were people that were involved with Epstein because he did do a lot of charity stuff. And supposedly that's what Clinton was going to Africa with them and stuff and working on charity things. You know, if a woman came out and said that Clinton did something to her, then investigate it. You know, I get something's coming out, communication on this. It's like they're waiting for something to finish up in the courts before they go after him, and I'm getting. There's multiple men. There's like a really high up figure, and then there's somebody lesser down that they're going to look into taking in through the courts. Something that's been covered up in their lifestyle. And I get my bullying, like rape type things, manipulated bullying. So, and it's Trump directly.
That's that one lawyer that he hired. Remember the old guy that was like, "Oh, I didn't do anything. I kept my underwear on." What was his name?
Dershowitz, Alan Dershowitz. Yeah, so something that was covered up. But I think it may end up being a little more of a class action suit, like multiple women. And bad news to Trump on all that, because by the time they get there, it may end up being civil, like going after money with him as opposed to criminal.
Yeah, because it was funny. Dershowitz was all over those reports of how many times he went to Epstein Island. And he was also the guy that got Epstein that sweetheart deal in Florida of, oh, he only goes to jail for a couple hours a day.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, he's still doing the thing that he was arrested for. But I didn't do anything. I kept my underwear on. And I'm the tooth fairy.
Your clothes.
And I'm the tooth fairy. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Or you could be like your underwear on. The dude who he worked on The Simpsons, and he quit that, or was going to get fired anyway, but he quit because, his clothes were on, but he was having little girls massage his feet. Anyway, for this to be a thing, they need multiples in numbers. And so there has to be, and there will be, multiple women. So that's how this will grow and become troublesome for those involved. Is you can threaten one, but it's hard to make disappear 20 of them or 10 of them. It's like now there's a coincidence. So when the multiples come out, there's going to be a lot of guys here singled out, I think, and it's a lot more than just, of course, these people, but they're going to be singled out simply because we know who they are. And there's a lot of people on the list, and it's like, Bob, Tom, and all these different names, but these people, we will know who they are specifically, and yes, Trump is involved.
Trump had, a modeling agency, suppose at one time, what's his name? I can't think of his name, that ran a modeling agency. There was a guy in France that ran a modeling agency, all of them involved with Epstein. And
it was one of the Victoria's Secrets guy. He worked there or something like that.
Les Wexner, the guy in France, unalived himself, supposedly, so he may have been Mr. Epstein in prison because he was facing charges, but he unalived himself. So, to me, all this trafficking stuff, it's not just the wealthy people. I just want to reiterate that for a second, because I used to travel internationally, and I spent a lot of time in like Thailand and areas where trafficking, like you see it all the time. Like every time I would see a businessman traveling by himself, not with coworkers, I would get suspicious because there would be like 5 and 6 year olds in the trafficking world, and they would prey on people in like Laos and Cambodia. They would offer them money for their kids, tell them they're going to give them an education, then they take them in. There's been all kinds of documentaries on this. You can see it. It's horrible, but it's not just the wealthy. There are average Joe schmoes that are just as guilty as these people with
One
money.
just got arrested here in the States. I forget which state it is, but she was part of a ring, and she was the last one, or so far they think is the last one. It was like 4 or 5 of them, the people in charge, not the people who were being trafficked, just the people in charge, and they found her today.
And
It's just really like Walmart workers, not,
Wasn't there a case a few years ago where they arrested a pediatric doctor going abroad and think about, this is a pediatric doctor, who's seeing your kids as a doctor who is going abroad to do things to.
Atlanta, Georgia has one of the worst child trafficking rings operating of anywhere in the world. And it's because the airport is so big. It's one of the busiest airports in the world. People fly in there for the day. They hook up with wherever, whatever seedy hotel they're going to with these, a lot of them are runaways and stuff. And then they fly out and they're in and out, and they, have trouble tracking. There's a huge ring working, and they've been trying to get a grip on it for years in Atlanta. So, this isn't sadly a new thing. It's just unfortunately the people with money are the ones we see all the time, but there's a lot of just average Joe schmoes doing it.
Speaking of moving people, though, Eric Adams in New York is suing 17 of those busing companies who were shipping the migrants all over the country, and that shipped a bunch of them to New York. I'm not interested so much in because he's suing for $700 million, mind you. That's not something you just keep in your back pocket. So what I want to know is, will that deter other companies from participating in busing migrants?
They just they just brought a bunch of them here to Chicago before this big snowstorm, so they had to open up. They opened up a library and other places to shelter these people because they're migrants, immigrants. They don't have cold weather gear, so they were getting donations of coats and gloves and everything, and having to set up places for them to stay warm, in these sub-zero temperatures. So New York's got the same issue going on.
I get it now, because they're going to be manipulated and lied to, and it's just going to be a problem. So Greg Abbott, I need a bus to charter all these people. What's it for? Oh, we're taking them to camp or whatever. So it's going to continue. There's going to be a pattern, and it's going to repeat over and over and over and over and over and over again. It doesn't deter, because the companies can just be lied to or manipulated into doing it.
Yeah, they've got to go after who they were working with. They've got to go after who was paying them and causing this corruption. That's where the fight has got to go. If they can go after them, then they stand a chance of winning. But as far as the companies, the bus companies themselves,
wasn't there a state that was looking to investigate or sue or something against Greg Abbott, and I believe DeSantis as well, for human trafficking? Was that Governor Newsom here in California?
Wasn't that California?
There was, or maybe I'm just making it up, but I could have sworn
I thought Massachusetts, Martha's Vineyard was also, because they flew that plane up to Martha's Vineyard. I thought they were looking at it too.
Or look at criminal charges for Abbott and DeSantis for human trafficking, basically. But I can't remember exactly.
The burden will loop around. It will continue with the Ten of Wands and the Judgment card. It will resurrect and become a thing once again, I think what needs to happen is he needs to aim higher. The Ace of Pentacles, your opportunity lies within the government or the governors, especially too, the people in power. So I think that's where you should go. That's where you should take your suits. Are you going to get $700 million from Greg Abbott? No. But at the same time, you can continue to sue him for these infractions. And so, or because mind you, you're taking people under false pretense. And so there's a case to be had there, though. So I think you just need to aim higher, that's all.
And didn't they get that one lady that was at Martha's Vineyard where they dropped off all the immigrants? They got that lady to lie to them that, yeah, we're going to get you a job and this, that, and the other thing and get you help and set you up. And didn't they find that lady, the one that lied to the...
I thought so. I thought there was cases still going. Yeah, Abbott or DeSantis too. Yeah, I mean he just lost the appeals case where he was trying to fire that AG down in Florida that won by election because he was too woke. Tried to fire him. He just lost the appeals case on that. So
yep, and then
so much winning these people do.
And then he just lost the appeals too to have the Disney case dropped because he knew he pooped the bed with that one big time, and the appeals court said, moving forward, go get him, Mickey Mouse. Have fun with that. When your political career is over, you don't get the presidency, you can't be a governor anymore. Have fun, Ron DeSantis. Have fun.
Yeah, you just wait because you're going to end up with a lot of legal fees.
Trump has admitted to the $8 million payment, saying
on TV in an interview, of course I did it. Of course I did it. I was doing China favors. I was working for them. I'm not going to do it for free.
And to pay for Melania's hairdo somehow.
I would be stupid if I didn't make money for myself. I'm a businessman. What are you talking about?
Like what? Like, why are we still in court right now? Like, what did this case this?
And MAGA's like, yeah, that's a great idea. You should make money.
And meanwhile, there's millions more that they want to investigate, but they're being blocked right now from getting the records. It's like they know, like there's probably 160 million he made through hotels and stuff.
This is only 2 years worth of stuff too. So there's another 2 years that are still unaccounted for
with limited documentation. Yeah.
And then that's not even counting how he used the federal government to enrich himself when he was forcing the Air Force to stop in Scotland and raising the rates. There's all sorts of stuff he did that, I mean, but I'll shut up now.
Does this mean anything, though? That's my question. Does this amount to additional charges? Does this amount to another investigation? Does this just add to what they already got? Or is this just another story because he admits everything now? Other than E. Jean Carroll, that's the only thing he won't admit to, but everything
else clause doesn't apply to me.
Because the whole presidential immunity thing is so stupid. Because if it's presidential immunity and presidents are immune from everything, then why are you trying to impeach Biden and kick him out? Because he's, according to Trump, they can do whatever the hell they want. And Biden can just call up SEAL Team 6 and go, yeah, that fat guy with the orange face and the dead possum on his head, take him out for me, will you?
I think one of the funniest things, he's trying to get out of the E. Jean Carroll case this week because he's got to go to Melania's mother's funeral. He never said a word about Melania's mom died. Never went to visit her in the hospital.
Why were you at your New Year's Eve party when Melania was with her mother? Why weren't you there if you were so concerned?
You there? But Melania's dad wasn't there either. He was with Trump. It was like, oh my God.
I mean,
he's got to go to the funeral now. I can't do the trial. I need a delay. And the judge is like, too bad.
I saw you at your rally, schmuck,
God's waking up.
God sent me. I am, I'm here to do God's work.
Rexy's waking up back there.
So will this amount to anything?
They investigate all his emoluments clause things.
And that's another thing. Your wife dying, what you doing partying with Donald Trump? Like,
As long as he can plop her in the golf plot.
keep Ravana happy or company.
Will it amount to anything? Yes. After the elections. There's the elections. There's a man. I don't know if this is Jamie Raskin or Spanky or who the heck this is. And then they make it very, very solid. Or the law that's in the book, they make it to where it's solid and has teeth. Because, like I said last time, yes, these laws exist. But those laws are dependent on elected officials to abide by their oath and uphold the law. Not, well, my guy's in and he's given us judges and tax breaks, so go ahead and do whatever the hell you want, Donald Trump. We're going to exclude you. Do you see what I'm saying? So it comes down to the people in government to uphold it. So after the elections, perhaps when they flip the House, it becomes solid. And he's going to be a prime example of why this law needs to have some serious teeth. Because they're going to be like, hey, look, Donald Trump made $800 billion by the time they get done investigating. You know, $800 billion from the U.S. government enriching himself while in office, you know.
I think there will be a referral to DOJ, too. It's like the surprising details that are going to get illuminated of all the corruption and all the agreements he had with people. So back of house stuff. It will come out that, you know, his little lifestyle choices, it will come out through the courts, but it's going to be a while. It's like waiting. So yeah, more is going to come to light. There'll be a deeper investigation. That's for sure.
I think so. Yes, this will happen under Biden as well. There is something around Trump while he was in office. This adds to a case. So it's going to be something, I don't want to say bigger than this, but just like this. But it surrounds money in the White House and Donald Trump. And there's conflict around focusing something in on himself, like you have to stay at my resorts. Like there's a bunch of stuff there that just adds to another case, but confirmation, yes, it does lead to somewhere. Speaking of thieves, though, the child's name is Carrie Blair. And she is one of the Moms for Liberty.
And she 3 ways?
No. Well, 3 times a lady on this one because she was caught, finally. The 3rd time is the charm. Stealing from Target.
Oh, but please tell me how we need to ban dictionaries and encyclopedias in Florida because they have sexual content. That is not a joke. They just recently banned dictionaries and encyclopedias because of sexual content. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, homegirl, you know, I believe in God, the Bible, everything, yada yada.
First of all, what you doing in Target? Ain't that the transgender store that y'all don't like?
Yeah, shoplifting from Target. Okay, but go ahead.
$730 worth of stuff she was trying to steal. This go around, mind you, she's done this 2 other times at that Target. She was doing what they called, I forget what they called it, skip tracing, skip scanning, it's basically called sliding. That's what we call it in the industry.
Can you explain what that is?
So what happens is, I'm going to push y'all down here. That way we'll do show and tell. Because I worked loss prevention and this is how sliding works. So you got some things you're trying to buy. And what you then do is you'll pick these things up in your hand. You'll scan one, but you'll put 2 in the back. You'll scan another and you don't scan that one. You put it in the back. That's sliding. That's what she was doing. Now, at the self-check, if there's nobody watching you, then you do this a lot. The reason they want the cashiers back in the store is because they're the ones handling the merchandise. So for her to pull this off, what she needs is a cashier that she knows that will take one thing and scan it and then put 2 in the bag. and then not scan anything on the bottom of the basket. And then you can put all your heavy or expensive stuff down there. If you're trying to buy a vacuum, stick it at the bottom of the basket and just say I scanned it.
Well, Johnny, I know that some on those self checkouts, and I only know this because the Walmart down the street got rid of all of their where their cashiers are at and made them all self checkouts with like the little belt and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So where you put your stuff after you scan it, that's weighted. So if you scan one thing and put 2 down, it's not going to let you scan the next one because it noticed that you only scanned 1, but there's a weight for 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But if you leave stuff in the basket,
if you leave it in the basket,
it doesn't know. It only knows the weight over here versus the weight over here when you bag it. You know.
Mm.
Okay.
I have issues like when I'm buying cat litter because I buy multiple jugs. I don't ever go through self-checkout because I try to encourage them to keep employees, you know. But it's if I do have to go through self-checkout, it's a problem. Like if I have to scan each one. Well, there's not enough room to set multiple jugs down on this side. I'm having to put them back in the cart, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's
on the
not
floor
enough
or
space.
something.
Right,
Not to
right.
mention picking them big suckers up in the first
Yeah. So she got
if they've got somebody at the checkout counter, I can hold it up and say I've got 4 of these, you know, and they'll scan one and do times 4. But I've had employees when I worked at Macy's years ago. I had a girl that was fired who had a partner that would come in, buy clothing, and she'd bring up one thing and put 3 in the bag, and the overhead cameras caught her, you know, and security fired her. That's having an internal helper, you know, but
and that's what she needed if she was going to get away with this. There was a girl I worked with at Target, mind you. She was doing returns and putting it on gift cards, and there's no person here. She's just picking up random items and scanning it like somebody's returning it and put it on a gift card for her and her friends. It's like you need an inside person if you're going to continue to try to steal covertly.
There are people that are stealing gift cards, taking them home, getting the information, and then sealing them back up kind of crudely and putting them back up for sale. So when you buy a gift card, you better make sure it is sealed to the T.
And when you go to
somebody to purchase it, and then they take the funds off the activated dollar amount.
Mm-hmm.
But they wait for somebody to come along and purchase it. So,
and if you're going to the self-check, speaking of gift cards, look at the screen first, because what's happening too is people scan the gift card and then walk off. The gift card, you can take it if you want to. It means nothing until you finish your point of sale. It means nothing. It's just card and paper. But what's happening is a person will come behind them and start ringing their stuff up, pay for everything, and they just paid for that gift card that walked out the store too, because they weren't paying attention to the whole thing. Yeah. And so that person got you to pay for their $10 Starbucks card or their whatever. So pay attention to the self-check, or just go to a person if you can.
Yeah.
So Moms for Liberty, what was the question on her?
Well, I want to know why she was stealing. She was now mind you, this is a good thing for education because she was on the school board. And so she is now not.
Maybe she's gonna teach a course on how to steal kids.
I can't. Irony is dead with these holier than thou. I am so morally up here in my ivory tower, and you all are just a bunch of sinners. Hold my beer. Hold my beer while I go get caught shoplifting from Target.
Feeling entitled.
Yeah.
You know.
A-holes, man. So what was the question?
Why was she stealing?
Why was she stealing? What the hell was she trying to steal for $728, dude?
Multiple times, mind you.
Are there any laws like after you get caught trying to shop a few times, you're no longer at a misdemeanor, you're now at like a crime? Like,
yeah, I think it's over $500 as a felony. She's a felon now. Moms for thievery.
Yeah.
Moms for shoplifting.
Mhm.
Money. It's her lifestyle. Yeah, she's gotten used to this certain lifestyle, and her lifestyle's gotten erratic. She needed money. Who she's hanging around with, like she can't stay at the same lifestyle.
I get that it's an addiction. It's an addiction for her. It's like she's a what is that called when you can't help it?
Kleptomania.
Kleptomania. It's a health addiction for her.
Because I did this reading yesterday in our in our class, and she resells a lot of stuff. And when I worked for Home Goods, they'd come in and just pick up arms of stuff and just walk out the door. You can't stop them because that's dangerous to do. You don't know who they are, what they're doing, and that's not your stuff technically. Although at the same time, it kind of is, because when the inventory goes down, my job goes with it. So, but yeah, she was reselling, and she's addicted to that because she can take something for nothing and then sell it to you for everything to support her lifestyle. The moms for liberation of your stuff.
Moms for threesomes, moms for stealing.
They just get better and better, don't they?
I mean, who's next? Who's next? I
So
mean,
that's my question, because we have done this with the Santos. What's next coming for him? We've done this with Trump and who's getting in trouble next. What scandal is coming out of the Moms for Liberty next? Can we see? Can Spirit humor us for a second?
We did the one time. What's the next hoax cure for COVID gonna be?
When they had dirt and pee and everything else. What is next to come out of the Moms for Liberty? This is what happens when you want attention. People start looking at you. Yeah, TJ Maxx, yeah, Home Goods, Marshall, TJ Maxx, all same company. They do that to them a lot. Just put stuff in the cart and just go right out the door.
I think there's going to be. Okay, I'm going to be petty and go there. I think there's going to be a sex tape.
Okay.
or a person or a couple, because there's an agreement here, a marriage. There's your sex, there's success, there's access on the internet with a couple. I would not be surprised if there are some Moms for Liberty that are into what's that stuff called when you're amateur porn
bondage
people?
Or voyeurism, and
when you do it on the internet and people pay you. What's that called? Kind of like what George Santos was busted for because he was using campaign OnlyFans or something like that. I would not be surprised because there's something sexual here. You have to have access to it and an agreement for a couple, but it's online. So, I mean, why not? We hate gays, ban gays everywhere. Oh, I'm not participating in lesbian activity because my husband was in the room. Okay.
I think it's something kind of sexual too, because I first thing I saw when I saw this was the mattress, something on a mattress, like a bunch of women on a mattress, like, exposed. So being on film or something, and maybe a little bit kinky here, something done at home, something done in secret that they're trying to hide and cover up. But this is a lifestyle thing, so I'm gonna say more like an orgy.
That's interesting. I get whoever it is by themselves. I think there's some sort of exposure of their tape or something like that, or their site or their link or something like that. This is not voluntary, though. I think they're out.
Self-satisfying themselves.
But they're by themselves. That flew out, and that's all they heard was. So they're doing their own little tape. So it could be like a OnlyFans thing, because that's usually, I guess, by yourself. I don't know. But there's like a cam site or something like that, one of those type of things. And so, and again, nobody over here cares. It's always y'all that act like everything that you could do is deviant. It's
meanwhile, y'all the ones always doing it.
Smoke a joint, get laid. Nobody over here cares. Smoke a joint, get laid over there. Now you got to go ask Jesus to forgive you. Like, calm down. Like, I don't understand.
Now that you're going to all the school boards and raising Cain and everything, we could call you out on your hypocrisy over and over.
Like that kid that went off on what's her face, the threesome lady. Like, I don't think you should be fired because you had a threesome. I think you should be fired because you're terrible at your job. I'm like, that kid's my new hero.
Yes.
New hero.
It's like nobody cares until you make us care.
Yeah, as long as it's what do you call it? Consenting adults.
Consensual adults, mind you.
I don't care what you do in your home as long as it's consenting adults.
Mm-hmm. So, Johnny, I'll let you go, but before we closed out, I had one question that
go for it.
Oh, I can wait till you're done asking all your questions. I mean, if we have time.
No, I have 43, so you go right ahead.
Oh, so I don't know if it's on your list of questions, but Marjorie Taylor Greene is now threatening to jettison Moses Mike. Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Do tell. Why? Because he keeps working with Democrats?
Yeah, because she wants to shut down the government, because that is what Trump is demanding, to shut down the government, to hurt Joe Biden in the polls so that he has a leg up. Forget about all the people's lives you're messing with, and the American people and federal workers and all this. No, forget about that. Trump wants this, so we have to do this. So she's threatening Moses Mike to jettison him, just like they did McCarthy. So I want to sit this one out, because in his top role, he sits in the House of Commons, which is losses and endings. I need to go back and see where the bird sits. It's far from him. I know that it is.
What month it happens in?
No, to do the square, to see how it. Because it's
the timing of it. Let's see. Are they going to oust?
Are they going to jettison him? Because she's been threatening, and she's been riling up that part of the caucus too.
So all three of those came out.
Well, that's what they did with McCarthy, wasn't it? For JR. No, it wasn't for Kelly. Because it was Matt Gaetz that initiated to jettison him. And then they all voted and booted him out. Well, the Democrats voted, and then there was 18, 19 Republicans that voted, and that's why McCarthy was gone. But that was the agreement with Kevin McCarthy, that it would only take one person to oust him, to vacate the chair. And I'm not sure if those terms are still the same with the agreements that Moses Mike took, but Marjorie Taylor Greene is all over the news, anywhere that'll have her, that she's going to start a motion to vacate the chair if he doesn't give in to their demands to shut down the government.
It's like she stands inside the house saying, if you don't do what I say, I'm going to burn it down. You're in that house too, madam.
No, she's not that smart, Johnny. Horseface is not that smart.
There is an action that I think she'll take to try to oust him, separate him from his seat. It's for her own image sake, but I think she might have an abundance of people behind her on this, getting rid of him as the speaker. So, I get he's burdened. I think she will separate him, but I'm not sure if it's before or after they get the bill through, the budget through. Because he might pull together just enough Republicans to get the details of the budget through. She does try to oust him.
Well, burn it on down. I mean,
I know, and kiss the next election goodbye,
because
please.
here's the thing: you got rid of McCarthy for him, and now you want to get rid of him. Who are you going to replace him with? A person just like him, I guarantee you.
Or
You can't
herself.
get anybody more
Or
MAGA
herself.
than Moses, you know.
Or
Moses
herself. She's that arrogant to where she would want to be speaker. Remember when Kevin McCarthy let her take over a few things and she had the gavel for a few days? I mean, she acted like she parted the freaking Red Sea. It was the accomplishment of her life when she was running the House, and on the few instances that Kevin McCarthy let her, you know.
Government ending victory. Pressure walking away. Will
Oh,
she
you
be
think so?
successful? I believe she will. Eventually. Look.
Get your popcorn, people. This is going to be fun.
I know, Marjorie, I have a gift. I'll get you started. It's got a snake on it, too. Apropos.
Burn it down. Burn the whole party down.
You pour, I'll throw.
Burn it all down. I mean,
you just let me know. I know where DC is.
so disruptive. I mean, these people have passed how many laws? 23? 23 in 2 years?
Damn shame.
Well, there's nobody else that could be more supportive of Trump and MAGA than Mike. You know,
MAGA Mike did say that he was
Gordon, but they'll never get through. They would never be voted through.
you know, Moses Mike said that he was Moses, and then Johnny was telling me that Moses wandered around the desert for 40 years and never made it to the promised land. I'm like,
You can make it nowhere.
Let his people that didn't get to cross over himself.
yeah.
He gets credit for the parting of the Red Sea story, but not making it to the promised land.
No, just wandering around in the desert for 40 years.
Yeah. And mind you, you didn't defeat the Pharaoh. God did. So you might want to dial that story back, porn watcher. Okay. Final question then. There is the Pentagon has come out and slammed Fox News for this story. So I figured we'd read on it too. There is a story by the MAGAs and the Fox News that there is a new government operative that is out there in the streets trying to recruit people by the name of Taylor Swift.
Oh my God.
Taylor Swift is
The
the government
Swifties are coming for you.
Oh my God.
that she is a government operative.
And the Pentagon had to come out and say
The
that's
Pentagon slammed Fox News for this story.
oh
I understand freedom of speech, but good God, can we get rid of these things?
who said
I
it?
understand freedom of speech too, but my
Jesse
God, like,
Waters.
It was Jesse Waters, wasn't it?
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, come on.
He's their bullhorn now. He's their new Hannity. Hannity is old Hannity. He's the new Tucker Hannity, smushed into one.
Taylor's got the money. I hope she sues the crap out of them for defamation.
Oh yes.
Because what I want to know is, are they going to continue with this narrative? Because what they want to do is make it look like she is doing something wrong by getting people interested in voting and registering and that type of thing.
Well, they're making her a target for these dangerous, thugs that she's going to have extra security and everything around her. Thank God she can afford it.
They haven't learned with the big lie thing that lawsuits are real. And so what I want to know is they're going to continue with that story, with that narrative, of Taylor Swift being a government operative, because in the mind of somebody watching, the tick, tick, boom is going to go off and they're going to see her as an enemy instead of just a person. Will they continue with this story of the government operative, Taylor Swift? Secret agent Swift.
I get a yes, because there's one person that's very well rooted that is looking for a lot of power and celebrity at that organization, looking to cement themselves. Also, so far as the executives allow it, it's going to keep going. So Taylor Swift, not that you're watching, but Taylor Swifties, sue the shit out of these people. You got the money, girlfriend. You got the money. I'll go buy a couple records. Okay. Right down the street. I will go buy the vinyls. Sue them. Sue them.
Yeah, it's like her. They celebrating. They definitely will keep saying she's the deep state in the government. Even though she has no part in the government, they're going to say, oh, she's the deep state, she's been there a long time, blah blah blah. They get away with burdening her and manipulating the story, so yeah, they'll keep doing it. I think there will be eventually a lawsuit over this that she'll end up winning, because they're bullying her, and they're calling up the troops to come and bully her.
Don't mess with the Swifties, man. Do not mess with the Swifties.
You know what I feel like too? What may happen? You remember when Donald Trump, when Gen X or whoever it was, took over TikTok and basically bought all the seats to his little rally, and then he had
the TikTok kids, Gen Z. Go, Gen Z, way to go.
So what I think is going to happen too, there's a narrative being pushed that she is targeting children, like underage, to register. So these people are not 18, that she's illegally registering people, or like she's down there with her pen and paper saying, okay, what's your name? Like she's not, okay, calm down with the registering people to vote thing, but like she's targeting children. That's what they're gonna say. Like that's illegal. These people are not age and blah blah blah. But something happens to where the scheme is exposed, and that generation fights back, but they fight back with information technology type of thing. So I don't know if they swarm and troll Fox News, because they may not even be aware of that entity, because it's not on their timelines, it's not in their telephone, it's not on their TV watching schedule. So that whole Archie Bunker audience is not the same as Taylor Swift's audience. And so there's something informational that they are going to fight that back with, though. So I guess we shall see. I knew you were trouble when you walked in, she said.
Way to go, Swifties. We got your back. We support you. Albums.
I can met the ballot, Swifties.
Oh, Donald, poor thing. Anyway, so that's it for us today. Thank all 2,100 of you for being. Maybe y'all couldn't go nowhere because it was all snowed in. So I thank you for hanging out with us.
we're melting to death, Johnny.
I don't want the sun though. I ain't gonna complain about the snow because I ain't had nowhere to go anyway. But I don't want the sun. You can keep all the sun and the sunshine that comes with it.
I just want miserable weather, so I can pull up with a good book and little Braxy and look out the window and see the rain. Nada.
Only thing is, it's really cold. I got like a blanket and 9 jackets, and all my fingers is wrinkled. But
Johnny, if I may say too, before we
yes, ma'am.
Unlive ourselves. If you came in late and you have signed up for my healing energy seminar or are thinking about it, please go back and watch the beginning of this video, because I walked you through a few things that have come into question about the times for the seminar.
Yes. And remember, it's in June? So you still got time.
Still got time. And I've got openings. If you're looking at getting a reading, I've got openings in March.
And my next tarot class is March 3rd, I believe. So if you want to reserve a spot, we're not taking payments or anything like that. If you want to reserve a spot, then send me an email saying, reserve me a spot, please. And we'll do that. And then next week we'll be on Jen Lynn Tarot's channel, and we will see y'all there. Again, if you have questions about the seminar, go to jenlyntarot.com. There is a seminar tab. We'll see y'all later.
Guys.
Y'all stay warm.